All right, so I have 7 sample problems here, and I've got my notes. My notes are available on Google Classroom. These are hand-drawn notes. These are actually my rough draft of the ones that I put online. If I can hand draw them and do them on line, you can at least draw them once. You don't have to do the stick figures, but I think they really do help. And multiple colors are really nice too, if you've got the colored pens around. So to get started, problem number 1. It wants us to reflect point B across the y-axis. And B is 8, 14, and B prime is going to be our transformed answer. So I need to find my notes for y equals, for the y-axis. The y-axis is right here. It's also called x equals 0. That's the equation of the line. And yeah, it's pretty straightforward. We change the sign of the x value on the left side. So it was 2, it becomes -2. The -3 stays the same. So yeah, we just change the sign of the one on the left. So over here, we do, well, -8, and the 14 doesn't change. All right. Then, I know, a bit of a glare. Problem number 2, we're going to rotate point F 270 degrees counterclockwise around the origin. Let's go to the rotations. Now, these are a little complex. A couple of steps to it. Step 1, we have to figure out which quadrant our point is in. So over here, our quadrant, so it's a negative and a positive. So on our quadrant chart, negative positive is quadrant 2, so the point would be somewhere over here. Step 2, we need to know where it's going. So 270 degrees counterclockwise. So counterclockwise is going to move this direction, and so 90 degrees is there, 180 degrees is in quadrant 4, and 270 degrees is all the way over in quadrant 1. So it's the same as a -90, or it's also the same as a +90 clockwise. But this is a 270 counterclockwise. It's going to go from quadrant 2 to quadrant 1. All right, now step 3. We need to switch the places of our numbers. All right, now we're to work. I'm going to take my numbers and I'm going to switch places. So the 12 goes to the back and the 26 comes to the front. All right. Step 4, change the sign to match the new quadrant. The new quadrant says we should be in positive. So we're done. It's positive 26, positive 12. All right, to the translation. It looks really fancy. It's got the X and the Y and the arrow. All we really care about is the X -10 and the Y +5. I don't have notes on this because it's really straightforward. The sample is as good as anything. So I need to take my X value and subtract 10. So my 8 minus 10 is -2. My 14, my Y value, is going to add 5. So 14 plus 5 is 19, and I'm done. That's all there is to it. So we are going to rotate point A 180 degrees around the origin. My notes for 180 degrees are change both signs. So I've got 5, positive 5, positive 9 became -5, -9. All right, so we're just going to change the signs. Rotate point 180. So the -13 becomes a +13, and the +34 becomes a -34. That's it. All right, so we're back to a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation around the origin. So back to the rotations. Let's go over this one more time. So step 1 is figuring out which quadrant we're starting in. Okay, I have another negative and a positive. So we're back to negative and positive. That's quadrant 2. Step 2 is find out where it's going. So if it's 90 degrees counterclockwise, then it's just one space down here. It goes from quadrant 2 to quadrant 3. So both of them will be negative. Then to start off, I need to switch my places. So we switch places. It was a 6. The 6 goes to the back. The 22 goes to the front, the y value. And in this case, down in quadrant 3, where we know it's going to go, we're going to change, both signs have to be negative. So I'm going to make it a negative 22 and a negative 6. It's as simple as that. I know it's 4 steps, but with some practice you can get it. The reflect j across y equals negative x. Y equals negative x are these notes right here. All right, so we got 2 people saying we're going to switch both numbers, and then we're going to change both signs. So if I had a negative 7, it goes to the back and becomes positive. If I have a positive 2, it comes to the front and becomes negative. We just change the signs and change the positions for this one. So change the signs, change the positions. The 15 comes to the front, becomes negative. The positive 31, the positive 31 goes to the, negative 31 comes to the back and becomes positive 31. Reflect point H across y equals x. Okay, so that's the same paper. Across y equals x, we just switch the numbers. That's all we do. The signs stay the same. So if it was 10 and negative 6, it's now negative 6 and 10. I'm going to switch the numbers. It's now 9 and negative 18. That's all I have to do. Good luck on the test.